Hello,
I'm Ludivine,
and I'm Pierre.
and we are both health students. In this context, we made a questionnaire in order to get a view about the general knowledge on autism and to spread awareness about this condition.
Indeed, people often have a misleading and simplistic point of view about what really is autism, also called ASD for Autism Spectrum Disorder. And we are here to gather all those misconceptions and debunk them.
The first question we asked was about autistic people ratio in the world. Respondents were mostly divided between 1 out of 1,000 and 1 out of 10,000. But they were wrong. Actually, only about 1% of the world population is concerned by ASD. Only 14% of our answerers got it right.
It is interesting to notice that out of our 121 answers, one responder spontaneously pointed out that they were themselves autistic, and two others wrote they have a diagnosed brother. This may prove you how frequent is ASD, even in this quiz can count as representative.
To continue in a general area, we questioned them about the diagnostic agreed age. Depending sources, the diagnostic age may vary between 2 and 4 years old, and 1/4 of the respondents guessed it, while more than half believe it was between 5 and 10 years old.
Concerning the gender ratio, the prevalence ratio is about 4 males for every 1 female diagnosed, like though 71% of the responders. Around 1/4 said there were no difference between the two assigned gender, and only 5% thought girls were more touched.
About the question of the ASD nature, half our respondents thought that this condition was a mental disorder, which is wrong. Indeed, autism is a developmental disorder, so we cannot say that it is a mental disorder nor an illness, and about 40% of the answerers got it.
The next question is about life expectancy. About 2/3 of the respondents thought that autism didn't matter in terms of living time. 1/3 believe autistic live younger than average, which is true and can be counted in decades.
Concerning the causes of non-natural mortality, people mostly pick suicide. Far beneath, we have epilepsy death, and after that all the other causes are approximately equal. In fact, the three main causes are, in order, epilepsy, suicide, and heart problems.
By knowledge or by luck, 4 respondents, 3.3%, checked the right answer about autistic unemployment, which is that 80 to 100% of autistic people don't have work. Don't feel bad. We were as astonished as you probably are when we found out this information on every study we checked.
As for the autistic symptoms, we enhanced many.
Social anxiety, late learning of social interactions based on mimicry, special interest, stimming, fear of loss of control, necessity of routine, executive dysfunctions, hypersensibility, heightened sensibility to details, meltdown, shutdown, and sleep disorder.
And they can all be. Almost 40% of our respondents checked them all. In a matter of fact, symptoms may vary in number, type, and evenness between individuals, which make every autistic person unique in the spectrum.
We continued our survey with questions about common beliefs.
First, autistic people are often pictured as geniuses in the media, but this is only a rare condition most autistic people don't have. On this question, point of view are mixed. 1/4 of the respondents don't know, more than 40% partially agree, and about 20% partially disagree.
Then, about the possible relation between autism and vaccination, the controversy that vaccines cause autism came in the late 90s, when a published study appeared to link thimerosal containing vaccines to the increasing incidence about autism. Since then, the correlation has been disproven by a number of studies. 80% of the respondents knew it was a false correlation.
We next asked if they thought there was a cure for autism. In fact, there is no cure for ASD, and there is currently no medication to treat it. but some medicines can help with related symptoms like depression, seizures, insomnia, and trouble focusing. 3/4 of the answerers at least partially disagree with the existence of a cure, and no one totally agreed.
The next affirmation was that genes play a role in autism. Autism has a strong genetic basis, although the genetics of autism are complex and it is unclear whether ASD is explained more by multi-gene interactions or by rare mutations with major effects. About 60% of the respondents partially or totally agreed with this statement, and 1/3 has no idea about that.
The diagnosis gap between boys and girls also can be explained by the difficulty to spot autism in assigned females. Indeed, recent studies suggest that autism may look quite different depending sexes. For example, boys with autism tend to have very repetitive and limited area of play. Girls with autism are less repetitive and have broader area of play, and this is only one example out of many. More than 40% didn't know, and the response in the other corners were really dispatched. So we can conclude that there is no really fixed opinion on that subject.
The next proposition was if there were only one kind of autism. De facto, ASD is now an umbrella term that encompasses autism, Asperger's syndrome, pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, childhood disintegrative disorder, and Rett syndrome. We can say that people are really aware of the reality of the autistic spectrum, since 93% of the respondents were right.
On the theme of the emotion feeling or communication in autism, people were mostly right. Indeed, autism doesn't make an individual unable to feel the emotion you feel. It just makes a person communicate emotion and perceive your expressions in different ways, and more than 90% of the responders generally thought so.
Another common misconception is that people with autism can't understand emotions of others. In reality, autism often affects an individual's ability to understand unspoken interpersonal communication. So someone with autism might not detect sadness based solely on one's body language, or sarcasm in one's tone of voice. But when emotions are communicated more directly, people with autism are much more likely to feel empathy and compassion for others. The results shows that our respondents were not as informed as they were about the previous facts. Only 65% at least disagreed with their statements, while more than 20% partially agreed.
In the 1950s, a theory called the refrigerator mother hypothesis arose suggesting that autism was caused by mothers who lacked emotional warmth. This has long been disproved. It wouldn't be a bold assumption to tell that our respondents had never heard of this theory, since only one partially agreed with the statement.
Our two last questions were about the link between gender and sexual orientation and autism. The general opinion is definitely not aware about the correlation. Despite this is a well-known fact in both trans and autistic communities. The vast majority of answerers were divided between disagree or can say, while studies confirm that LGBT+ were overrepresented in the autistic community.
We hope this presentation answered all the interrogations you may have about ASD and made you question your relation with that subject.
Thanks for watching.